Welcome back, everybody, to Waadaplaya Concussion Sub Series. It has been a long while talking cricket, and Cricket World Cup in India is in full swing. We had 42 matches for an all team round robin league format, and guess what? India are unbeaten, top of the table. New Zealand just about barely made it through. They had a tough fourth spot contest between Bangladesh, Pakistan, and New Zealand cut through. Australia, what a juggernaut. After the worst ever start to their Cricket World Cup, they are on the trot. And then we have South Africa, who made a fantastic start to the tournament and sitting pretty. So the semi-final lineup, Sanjay, is India, New Zealand, repeat of 2019 World Cup semis, and Australia versus South Africa. How are you? Firstly, how's London treating you? Nice little jersey. I need an intro of where you got that from, and also what do you make of the tournament so far? So why don't we start with your jersey?
Jersey, this is a 1992 all team jersey consolidated one. It goes from New Zealand to Zimbabwe, Australia, everyone basically. Some graphic designer tweeted on Twitter that I'd love to see a all team jersey for 1992. And then there was another manufacturer from Pakistan who sorted the jersey out. So it is not too expensive or from UK standards. So I thought I'll try it. So yeah, it looks nice. So
It's really nice. Yeah, I might order
very
one for
unique,
myself.
very unique. Yeah, coming to the World Cup, obviously all the India games have been one-sided, like as one-sided as we could imagine in any other World Cup, which is a worrying sign for the pessimists. I was one of the ones who was so pessimistic that I thought India wouldn't even make it to the semis. But after the Asia Cup, when they've been steamrolling every team that's come across in this World Cup, the bowling attack, we've accidentally stumbled upon getting Shami into the squad because Hardik Pandya is not fit, and we are top of the table. So New Zealand, Afghanistan, and Pakistan pretty much tried to go for the fourth place. New Zealand deservingly has got the fourth place, and this is the four set of teams which qualified in what uh, 1999 was it? No, which are the four? No, I think this is
I think 2015 we had a repeat.
20, 2015 we had the same four set of teams, yeah, but obviously it was New Zealand, South Africa, that classic game, and then the India Australia semi-final. So unfortunately we've not crossed the semi-final barrier since 2011, and Australia in 2015, 2019, New Zealand are on a different journey. They've made it to the two finals, two ODI World Cup finals, so maybe third time lucky, who knows, but I'm hoping that playing in Mumbai, we don't end up bowling first and then having that one bad hour when the wickets seem to be tumbling down in Wankhede, unlike we've seen in the past. So I'm a bit worried, but overall, the deserving teams have made it to the top four, and really looking forward to both the games.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll talk about the top four, but just have the points table on the screen. I mean, India looked like are on a parallel universe, no catching up. But Netherlands had a good run, right? They had two games, two victories. Sri Lanka were showing some promise, but they faded away very, very fast. Bangladesh, I don't think they never had a chance. England was a real shocker this World Cup. I mean, people were talking about them probably in top four, but they barely made it to the Champions League qualification. Afghanistan have been the dark horse. They have been my dark horse since past couple of World Cups. And Pakistan have themselves to blame. They had a pretty mediocre tournament, I would say. I think whatever wins they have been scraped through. But boy, oh boy, India and South Africa have done their bit, and Australia 6 games on the trot, and New Zealand, who were sitting pretty number two at some point, were almost knocked out. So, yeah, I mean, it is a pretty one-sided tournament. But looking back in hindsight, I think the four teams who probably have best squads have have ended up making to the semi-final. Did you see any surprises in the 5 to 10 window there?
So the biggest surprise, obviously, is England. Talking of firstly Netherlands and Sri Lanka, they are the bottom two. No one should be surprised because they were the ones who qualified to come to the World Cup. Bangladesh, yeah, you could argue maybe they could have won a couple of more games considering they've been playing World Cup for a long time now. Afghanistan, I think 6 or 7, anything over that is great for them because they only had one win before this tournament, but they looked like a proper team, and with a bit of luck and with less cramps to to Glenn Maxwell, maybe they could have qualified a bit of catching. So Pakistan is the most disappointing one after England because again they've ended up fifth. This time it's not the net run rate. This time it's just a really bad run of form after they won the first two games. So yes, it was. I think overall we've not had enough close games, which is why there'll be question marks maybe in the future for the length of the round robin phases, where after a point you were like, okay, there's only going to be one spot where there'd be teams fighting for. But if Bangladesh and England had performed well, maybe we would have had much more interesting second half of the league phases. But yeah, the 5 to 10, apart from England, it's on expected lines.
Yeah. And as a reminder, the knockout stage now, semi-final one, which is on November 15th, Wednesday, India versus New Zealand in Wankhede, and semi-final two, which is on November 16th, Thursday, will be at Eden Gardens, Calcutta, South Africa versus Australia. So we will preview both the games. So let's start with India versus New Zealand. Wankhede, I mean, run fest is what we are expecting, Sanjay, with the batting form both the teams are on.
So there's two ways to look at this. Wankhede ODI, and in general, if you look at Wankhede IPL, chasing team generally does very well because there's dew, and after 8:30, 9 o'clock, the ball really comes onto the bat nicely. It's a small ground, high scoring ground, good pitch, and all that. But this World Cup, the team batting first has an average score of over 300, and team batting second has an average score of 190 or something. Thanks to Maxwell, that would have been even lower. But there's only been what, 4 games? But the most critical issue seems to be the phase between say 6:30 to 8 o'clock, the second innings, first 15 overs. That's where it seems to be seaming, swinging, doing all sorts of things. You had Bumrah, Shami, and Siraj doing the job for us in against Sri Lanka. You had South Africa doing really well, but if the one game against between Afghanistan and Australia, even Naveenul Haq was swinging the ball like a banana, and they should have won that game. So if we are chasing, then I hope we are not chasing more than 250. So anyone who's winning the toss, they are going to bat first. The highest chase total is 280. I think and that was India probably. But anything over 280 would be difficult for the chasing team. Who knows? It might not swing. It might become really good for batting in the second half. But almost guaranteed, there's a lot that's going to depend upon the toss. So if India wins the toss and bats first, I think 70-30 India should go through. But I think New Zealand, as we all know, they've been the bogey team for India, and they've done really well against us in big games in World Cup. So I think all are pretty nervously confident that yeah, we should be able to go through these semis.
Wankhede stats, I was just looking up while you were previewing. The lowest score on the ground in a one day international is 55, Sri Lanka versus India in 2023, which was not so long ago. And the highest score on the ground is 438 versus India again, this time South Africa in 2015. So we are looking at a ground which a team got bowled out for less than 60, which is probably 2 3 weeks ago. But we've seen what Maxwell did with Afghanistan in the same ground. We've seen in the IPL games the teams batting chasing. And the fantastic thing is 2011 World Cup, we won the finals in Wankhede. So I'm pretty confident. I know you're nervous, but I feel India have the edge to get to the finals. I mean, New Zealand are a decent batting form, but I think their bowling is a weak point. And India, as you I think pointed out, struck gold with this bowling squad of ours. Outstanding. I mean, I have never seen in my entire career watching cricket such a strong India bowling lineup. And this is not exaggeration. We've been through some lows, but this is fantastic, Sanjay.
No, absolutely. I think I'm jealous of all our friends who've been to the stadiums to watch these guys, because I think more than the batting, I'd love to see Bumrah, Shami, Siraj in operation and getting these wickets in at such a regular interval throughout the World Cup. So yeah, this could be like the 2003 Australian team, which just went relentless and won all the games. But even then, they had a lot of close games during the league phases. So it for some reason it just feels surreal. So I don't want any close games now. I've taken the day off as I did in 2019 as well. Unfortunately, it went to a second day. But I think Wankhede, even if we lose the toss, I think that's the first thing. Okay, everyone's saying win the toss, you pretty much guaranteed to win the game if you get 280, 290. Let's assume, let's prepare for the worst case scenario. If we lose the toss, if we are chasing 320, see off the new ball, 10, 15 overs. It's a very weak bowling lineup. You'll have likes of Glenn Phillips, even Santner. I mean, if we have wickets in hand, I think we can chase anything. So that's the mindset I'm hoping that we would be going into the game, because you can't just rely on the toss. For New Zealand, I think they're coming out and trying to put the pressure back on India, saying, "Oh, we've got nothing to lose. It's their home World Cup and all that," which is all fine. But at some point, if you're a cricketer, and a lot of these guys are at the end of their career, they would want to win a big championship tournament. Three World Cup finals in a row potentially could be there for the taking. So it'll be very interesting. I think this will be probably the game of the tournament.
Sure. And New Zealand rode to the semi-finals, lost to India by 4 wickets. Of course, they won versus England, Netherlands, Bangladesh, and Afghanistan. Lost to Australia and South Africa and Pakistan. So chances, the reason why I'm confident is, if you look at who New Zealand lost with, is Pakistan, who are decent squad, South Africa, who are quality side, Australia, though it was a close game, and then India. So the only notable victory they've had, which they can bank upon, is England, won by 9 wickets. Otherwise, all their victories has been either Afghanistan, Bangladesh, or Netherlands. So they will be slightly nervous coming into the semifinals.
No, absolutely. They won the first four games. They had few lower ranked teams to start with, so they got a good run of form, nice run rates up front. Only England was a tough game. They got the points on the board. Then even when they lost, they didn't lose to a big margin like against Australia, against India, and then eventually they had to win just one game, which they did convincingly, and managed to go through the semis. They are always a team who most people don't pick for their semis, but they always do well in the ICC tournaments. I think that's the 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 Kiwis are right. I think there's more riding for India on this game than New Zealand. New Zealand is a very small country. It's not a one sport country, but India, pretty much the entire hopes of the entire nation is on the shoulders of the men. But Wankhede, we've done very well in the past in the World Cups, and 2011 finals were played there. So I'm hoping that the anomaly of this first 15 overs chasing team, even if it's the case that we get 300 and we don't get wickets up front, then I think we are in trouble as well. So it's a very difficult to predict what's going to happen. But I'd be confident if India wins the toss, bats first. I think they'd be less nervous. But if India is chasing, I'd be more nervous. So let's see. It'd be a cracking contest.
Absolutely. So that's semi-final number one. Semi-final number two is South Africa versus Australia in Kolkata. And unfortunately, at least for now, Sanjay, the weather forecast doesn't look great. 60% chance of rain. Looks like There is a cyclone predicted, and I'm also reading that if the forecast continues as it is, if the Thursday match is washed out, the World Cup reserve day is Friday, which is likely to be even more worse, at least from the weather forecast. So if both the days wash out and semi-final cannot be played, Sanjay, South Africa will qualify for the finals and Australia will be out, given they finished second and third respectively on the standings. So
So, and
hopefully weather doesn't play spoil sport here.
as much as you hate it, I think it's about time rain helps South Africa in a World Cup. The amount of times it's gone against them with the Duckworth Lewis in 2003 against Sri Lanka and the famous 1992 game against England. I think it's about time that they get some rub of the green. I think they did really well in the league phase to ensure that apart from that India lost and the loss against Netherlands, they beat all the other teams, so they are sitting high on the points table. But I'm sure they can. I mean, this is the thing which I probably hate about cricket is when you know the forecast really bad, try and ensure that you maybe have a reduced number of overs. Or just get it done rather than having that. I mean, as an Aussie fan, you wouldn't want South Africa to go through with this, but Australia have got a big upper hand against South Africa. They've won those two famous games in 1999, including the semi-finals, which was a tie rather, not a win. Then they steamrolled them on the in the 2007 World Cup in the semis. So I think Australia will definitely fancy their chances. But if there's rain forecast, maybe South Africa might get lucky and India or New Zealand might play them in the semi-finals. But Kolkata, I think it's a bit more predictable probably. If it's a slow low pitch, the South Africans have probably a slight advantage because Zampa is the only good spinner which Australia has. Whereas you got Maharaj as well as Shamsi can do a very good job for South Africa, and they are in very good batting form again. If they bat first, South Africa they pretty much won everything batting first. So if they bat first and score big, then Australia will be under pressure. But Mitch Marsh, Glenn Maxwell, I think Australia is speaking at the right time. So, and they've got the experience of the big game, winning big tournaments. So it'll be again a fascinating contest.
South Africa has never made it to a World Cup final. Like you said, maybe rains towards their side, rain gods, I don't know. Australia have won 7 games in a row in this World Cup edition. So it will be a shame if the weather comes into play. South Africa making with no game to play, but I mean, that is uncontrollable, but which would mean that India potentially are going to make it to the finals. And between South Africa and Australia, if the game doesn't happen, seems like India South Africa final. But if the game happens, it will be India Australia, according to me. What do you reckon?
I think if you look at the history and how teams have played, and considering the fact how teams perform under pressure, etc., if there's a full game, I'd definitely back Australia to come through that. And with a bit of luck, I think India, with the form they've displayed, and with the with the touch which Rohit has, for some reason or the other, things to seem to be working. So hopefully India will make it, and it will be an India Australia final. But I mean, if India for some reason loses, then I wouldn't want Australia to make it through to that group from the other semi-final. I'd want a new champion. So New Zealand, South Africa. If India can't make it, would be perfect because then at least we ensure you get a proper finalist. Otherwise, Australia for certainly will probably end up with the what sixth World Cup. 87, 99, 2003, 2007, 2015. Yeah, sixth World Cup. So that'd be great for them.
Okay, perfect. So I was thinking maybe we will refresh the memory of our viewers on what you predicted as the semi-final lineup is going to be before the tournament.
I,
So why don't I just play it and see what people think is the prediction versus the reality. So let's see if I can make this happen. Uh,
I'll tell you. I predicted Pakistan,
Now
South
hold on.
Africa.
Let the video play.
England, Pakistan, Australia, and South Africa. Do follow us, Waadaplaya, on Instagram.
So that's it. uh, so that was your
You know,
prediction.
yeah, I mean, on both sides, I was going to win, right? Because if India had not qualified, I could say I predicted it. But now they've qualified. I'm really happy, obviously. But I think the England performance was absolutely shocking. South Africa, I did fancy them right from the start. I think the form they've shown leading up to the World Cup, beating Australia 3-2, three games in a row, and all that. So that's the other thing. I think for the semi-final, they'll probably have an edge because they beat them in the league stage as well, and they've got what, 4 wins in a row against South Africa, against Australia. But Australia, they're a big team. On a big stage, I think they'll perform well. So it'll be very interesting. But yeah, but the predictions, most of the teams, most of the people got England wrong, just like I got India wrong. I got two wrongs, but everyone thought England are definitely going to make it. England, India, and Australia, and then the fourth was between South Africa, New Zealand, and Pakistan. But both South Africa and New Zealand have made it, which is great for the tournament because you have 50% chance of getting a new champion.
Absolutely. So there you go. That's our preview. Again, Wednesday, 15th November, India versus New Zealand at Wankhede. Thursday, 16th November, South Africa versus Australia in Kolkata. So all roads lead to Ahmedabad, which is going to be another humdinger of a final. I think packed house. Just before we wrap, Sanjay, ticket fiasco continues to disappoint the fans. I think our group, Aditya has been lucky. He's been almost watching every single India game. Anil Jain watched relatively good games. Vishak, I think, caught couple. So did Vinay. Ajay, our CEO, I don't think he made any. But for the finals and semifinals, what we have been hearing, ticket prices are going like 9 times the face value. What do you make of it? This is a great case study for BCCI. I mean, where do the profits go for the black money? BCCI is not going to make this extra money.
Yeah, and it's I mean diabolical. It's absolutely shameful how they planned it. Like today we are discussing this, what, 13th of November, late UK time. Even today they sold some tickets for the final. No other country, no other hosting nation will do something like this 3 days ahead of a semi-final, 4 days ahead of a final, 2 months ahead of a big tournament. You're trickling and giving tickets. It's impossible for fans outside of the country to try and make it. I mean, it's very difficult for fans even within the country to try and figure this out, figure this mess, and then there are these bogus tickets being sold, etc., etc. So I think that the whole ticketing fiasco is really disappointing, which is probably overshadowing some of the great work that's been done throughout the tournament. Decent pitches, we've not had close games, but ODI cricket is a dying format. So an Indian victory and an India Australia final will probably do wonders for the continuation of this format going forward. But yeah, I think the whole ticketing mess. Much rather have a tournament outside somewhere, to be honest.
Yeah, disappointing. But well, fans like Aditya, I'm really pleased he traveled all the way from San Francisco and he got maximum out of the tournament. Still 3 games to go, and I think he's going to be there for Wankhede for sure. I don't know about Kolkata, and then he's there for the finals. Last thing, let's take a look at the stats for the tournament, which are very, very fascinating. This is courtesy cricketworldcup.com, which is official website. Highest score in the tournament, Glenn Maxwell, that magnificent 201. Most runs scored. Sanjay, are you surprised it's Virat Kohli, 594 runs?
No, he's going to go past Sachin 623 in 2003, I think so. Not surprised at all that Kohli is there. I did think that maybe a Shubman Gill might be there somewhere. He missed a game, but no, not surprising at all. I think Kohli is he's in proper mood this tournament. Even when he's scratchy, he's getting a 50. So imagine the day when he's absolutely firing on all guns. What he'll do. And Glenn Maxwell, I think that's definitely the best innings I've followed and which will give a lot of confidence to the both the teams who would be chasing at Wankhede, either New Zealand or India, that if one setback can remain through the latter part of the uh, of the overs in Wankhede, I think they'll be able to chase even a higher score. But Zampa is a bit of a surprise after the disappointing start he had for a couple of games. I did think that maybe Kuldeep would do well, but he's not getting any wickets left. The fast bowlers are cleaning them up right up front, so there's not much for him to do. So yeah, great performance by all three individuals.
Yeah, Zampa definitely is a surprise card. I never gave him a chance. He was the only spinner Australia came with, and he's on a tournament best wicket taking ability, 22 wickets. The interesting thing is Australia versus New Zealand game, most runs scored in the game match is 771 runs. That is crazy. But yeah, I mean, this seems like a decent run scoring fest. Both Calcutta and Wankhede are small grounds. So hopefully the weather and the pitch and dew stays away, and we are in for a high scoring semi-finals. So stay tuned. We will continue to bring the content. Sorry that we couldn't cover maximum of World Cup, but we will bring as the holidays begin. We will start to bring more cricket coverage. Sanjay, thanks for making time. The house is looking lovely with that Diwali decoration still and your jersey. So hope to see you, speak to you soon, and yeah, thanks for watching and see you later.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks.